welcome to the Sober Side. It's a pleasure to have you. Um, we were chatting a bit about your story. I want to get into all the details, get everything that we didn't get. Can you remind us how many years you have sober?
September 8th, 2015. So I'll have 10 years next month.
10 years. Congratulations. And you're from Boston.
I am.
And
Came out here for treatment. The treatment industry in Boston is more government, shitty-ass treatment centers that, government, pays for. If you're indigent, you on mass health, just like California insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget what it is out here.
Like
Medi-Cal. So it's mass health.
Yeah.
So I've been to 115 detoxes, 65 programs.
Wow.
13 times in and out of the joint.
But you kept pushing.
Never gave up.
Never give up.
And my family never gave up on me. And that's why I say now that 10 years later, coming out here, and now I work in treatment and going for my KDAC and everything else and my credentials right now. But I tell parents, don't ever give up, man. You don't know which time's going to be this time it's going to work. This time it's going to stick. This time the kid's going to find somebody in the program. I might come speak at you at the detox and give that guy that voice of reason that goes, oh, wow.
That one thing that clicks.
This guy's just like me. Because drugs and alcohol aren't the problem. Let me get that straight, right from the get-go. Drugs and alcohol are not my problem. I'm my problem. My thinking's my problem. And it took me a while until I found that out in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that my thinking is my problem. Mm-hmm. The way I act and the way I react. So my resentments towards my brothers, towards my family, they didn't give me enough attention. I didn't get enough coddling when I grew up and all this crap, and I needed it. So I went off and I found negative attention. And I went out and found hoodlums, and I went out and found crimes, and I went out and did crimes, and 115 arrests on my bop, 7 felonies. I'm not the astute guy that you see in front of you today, that carries himself with you know what I mean?
Dignity and honor.
Absolutely. And what taught me the most of that is books and reading. And I can remember my brother who ended up dying of cancer 8 years ago. That was an engineer, and he was very intelligent, and he always taught me, he's like, Kory, stop using your fists to get through life, because your fists aren't going to work, man. Start using your head and start reading some books. So now I've read over 1,500 books.
Wow.
Now, I love books. I love reading. Put the TV down, get rid of it. Read a book, man. If you want to have anything, because he told me, Kory, you got a lot to say, and you think you're right at everything you say. You think, nobody's opinion's better than yours, and, you're always right. And he's like, you might want to get some facts to back up that opinion. You might want to, read some books and literature to back up those opinions. And I was like, fuck you, but you're right. All right. And he's like, well, I can ask you a lot of questions and you got a lot of answers, but where does it come from if you didn't read nothing on it? It comes from other people's opinions. So you're basing everything that you ever fucking did in life on other people's actions and opinions and what they tell you. And I went, he's
Valid
right.
Point.
Valid, absolutely.
And so what are you doing today? So I know we're dabbling with the past a bit, but I want to know what current Kory is like, what you got going on, how your day-to-day life is.
I've ended up, when I came out here for treatment, I ended up taking advantage of it. I got given a scholarship. One of my friends was an intake coordinator for a huge program out here, and he got me a scholarship and got me into the program, and I took advantage of it.
What was the first program you went to?
You don't want to know.
Why not?
CRLA. It's one of the Chris Batham He was put in federal prison for
Oh, really?
insurance fraud.
Interesting.
So he paid for my insurance, and then he hid it. So brokered, like all that brokering insurance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I went through that. So, but the program itself was laid out awesome. Everybody that worked there was in treatment themselves and graduated like me, like with years, multiple years. And they were telling me to go to AA and go get a sponsor and work the steps, and telling me that like the program's there just to keep you safe from yourself, from your habits, and we're just here to give you new habits and new routines, and like, and what you're really going to learn about the program and about staying sober is in the rooms, in meetings, and like, and they directed us to the right places, and I did. I found a sponsor out there, and like, I stayed sober.
And before coming out to California, did you go to treatment out in Boston?
Many times.
And you said that experience was completely different than what...
Didn't stick.
Okay. What was the main difference?
We kind of used programs as a place to just like take a break from using, and like we didn't use them to really get sober and stay clean. I don't know, man. Like it was just like one day, like I was out. I'll tell you, I was in Denver, Colorado. I went out to Denver, Colorado first, because they had a house out there. And when I was sitting out in the smoke break, and all the other guys were talking about, oh man, like fucking, I'm a drug dealer, and like fucking, I have OxyContins at my house, and I drive a fucking Mercedes, and blah blah blah, and like I got all these chicks' phone numbers on deck when he's got a freaking Obama phone in his hand, and like, I'm like rolling my eyes, and then he's like asking me for a cigarette. And I'm like, you're a drug dealer, bro. You got a Mercedes. Why are you asking me for a cigarette? Like, you should have your own. Bullshit. Right. And then I got another guy at the smoke deck, like telling me he's been in 1,000 fights, and like he's a killer, and like you could slap him to sleep, right? So he's just like has this mask on. And what I'm trying to say, man, is a lot of people wear a lot of masks, and like, and they're frauds, right? And they're fakes, and they like just can't tell the truth. And I went upstairs to my room, and I looked in the mirror, and I went, that's you. Wow. That was you out there telling those fucking fraudulent stories and all that bullshit, and trying to impress everybody in every treatment center you've ever been in. And you've never, ever taken accountability for your own actions and your own behaviors in your life. When are you gonna fucking take your life back? So I looked in the mirror and I went, it's time to grow up. It's time to like make this time fucking work. So at all costs, I did everything they told me to do. When they went to a meeting, I got a sponsor. I got right into the step work. Within 2 months of being in that treatment center, I had already started a big book study with other people in the house. That wasn't even a part of our groups. It was our own group that we started, because I was like, I'm gonna do this. And like in your first 30 days there, they took you up on a mountain, and they called what was called a redemption. They did a step a day for 12 days, camping out in Denver, Colorado, up 2 miles up on a mountain with a bunch of other guys. And then 3 old timers came from meetings, from AA meetings that had multiple years, 30 years like one guy had, 22 or something. And they came up and they took us through the steps. They sat around the campfire and they'd sit with us for a couple hours, and then they drive back down the mountain and go home. But they took their time, man, to get up there and to come there and to help us and like walk us through the work and like show us what the steps were all about. So it was my first really introduction to the step work. And I went, oh man, this shit probably could really work. Yeah. And I went, and when we went through those 12 steps in my first 30 days, it was just an introduction, but it was an introduction into AA, into that this shit might just work. It might just keep me sober. So I stopped having a reservation. I stopped fucking saying it's not gonna work for me and blah, blah, blah. I stopped looking for everything wrong in every meeting I went to and tried to find everything right. I started hanging out with old timers. I started fucking hanging out with people that were actually working a program. I wasn't like looking for the people that weren't and the guys that was still selling drugs in the back like I normally would, or the girls, or I'd go to a meeting and just hang out with girls. And like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a pickup thing, and like I wasn't bullshitting anymore.
Would it be safe to say that at that point you realized the way you were doing it wasn't
wasn't
working,
working.
and that it was time to just try something else? Let, maybe somebody else tell you how to do it. Give somebody
Well,
else a chance to
everybody
help.
in every meeting, and I mean every treatment center you go to, people will tell you that statistically the only thing that works is AA and NA. The steps, the promises, everything else behind the book, and to find the higher power. Because like step one, you're powerless, right?
Right.
You need to find the power source, like we were talking about earlier. Mine's Jesus Christ, my higher power.
Amen.
They could take that, whatever. You could take that with a grain of salt. A lot of people like don't like you talking about your higher power, but I do all the time. I say it when I speak at meetings because I'm proud.
I love that.
I love Jesus and like what he's done for me. I've read the Sermon on the Mountain, Drop the Rock. These are all spiritual books that helped to write the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And like I was saying, that Bill and Bob, like it's white Anglo-Saxon Christians that started the Oxford groups, the first 6 steps that they were going to before they even formed the 12 steps.
Mhm.
So it was all taken from Christianity.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh man, like I'm not that kind of guy, and like I'm not into Christianity. Like, oh, you might want to be careful because like the 12 steps are all based on it, and
Right.
like and
Everything is based on it.
absolutely.
Our modern legal system,
Absolutely.
the
The
big
world's
book.
surrounded by it, right? So like I tell a lot of people, there's 538 religions, but only yours is right. Like that's a joke, right? Like, come on, there's 538 different religions out there, and only
Some of
yours.
them got to be wrong. I would say one of them's got to be right.
Guess what? 537 of them are wrong,
Amen.
and one of them is right for me. I found the one that was right for me. You go find the other 530 and keep seeking it.
Yeah.
I stopped. I found him in AA. I found him in the big book. I found him in the steps. I found Jesus Christ and when I stopped looking so hard everywhere else. And I just sat at home and sat and prayed and did my 11th step prayer and prayer and meditation. And I got in contact with him. I got in direct contact with God. And I said, what was my purpose in life?
And how complicated was that?
When I stopped complicating it, very easy. It became easy when I stopped complicating the shit out of it, and that's what they say in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a non-complicated program for a lot of alcoholics who complicate the shit out of everything. We can complicate the shit out of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not the right bread. Oh, that's not the right jelly. Oh, that's
You
not
didn't
the right
spread it
peanut
right.
butter. Oh, I like chunky peanut butter. Oh man, like this is what you got. Like we'll complicate the shit instead of just being grateful and humble of what you have and right in front of you.
It's powerful, man.
So it was that easy for me, man. When I stopped complicating the shit out of my life became easy. When I stopped complicating the shit out of AA, it became easy. When I started helping people instead of seeing what you could give me, like what am I getting out of this? What are you going to give me? Like, am I getting paid for this? No. Like, I'm trying to give back, and like hopefully it can help somebody else to realize that there's nothing wrong with AA. There's nothing wrong with people trying to help you. There's nothing wrong with these programs that try to help everybody. There's something wrong with you trying to look for something wrong with it because your disease is telling you you have to find something wrong with it so you can get high again.
Yeah, justify the reason why you're doing things.
Absolutely, 100%.
And keep it going. So growing up in Boston, how was that like?
Drinking, partying, everything. Like, it was the cool thing to do. Like,
what's your first memory with dabbling with drugs and alcohol?
Looking up to my brothers who were partying, and when I was a little kid, they were having fun. It was high school, and it was just fun.
Mm.
It was regular fun. People were just smoking weed and drinking and just having fun. Like, but then for an alcoholic, a real alcoholic, fun turns into consequences. So I didn't really get consequences. I did. I got consequences at my first county bid. Was 18 years old. Then I went and did a 1 to 3 upstate at 19 years old. You know what I mean? So it started right in my teens.
Mm.
My consequences of my behaviors and my actions and assault and batteries. I curb stomped some guy at a bar.
I'm sure he deserved it.
He hit me with a bottle of Budweiser that gave me 23 stitches on the outside and 23 stitches on the inside of my mouth. So I
Yeah.
blacked out and hit him with something and got him down on the ground and started jumping on his head, and I got assault and battery with threatening to commit murder.
Man.
And my family, like I said, has money, so they paid good for a lawyer to get me out. The threatening to commit murder dropped to a simple assault and battery. That got me, instead of the 5 to 10 upstate that they wanted to give me, we settled for a 1 to 3. And I was 19 years old. They called me kid in state prison. They wouldn't call me by my name. They're like, I'd be like, my name's Kory. And they'd be like, your name's Kid. When you become an adult, we'll call you Kory. Right now, you're Kid. And like, I was like, all right. And then I had to prove to them that I could fight. So I fought like fucking.
And you're doing jujitsu now, right? Like,
I've done Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've done like a lot of stuff because like.
Where do you train at, by the
way?
way?
They even say that prison cell, fighting in a cell is a martial art.
Yeah, street fighting is its own thing.
Being able to fight in a jail cell is a martial art.
Yeah.
Because it's a form of being able to fight in small areas.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool, man, because I trained too. We were talking Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. So
I started at Y Crew in Boston.
Okay.
So
Boston's got good MMA.
Number one MMA place around, and I did it. I had sobriety time in Boston for a couple of years, and that's what I thought that I needed to do. I needed to take. The only thing that I thought I was good at was fighting. So I said, let me use my fists for something good. And I went into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai for a couple of years. And not so much AA, more of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. And I said, my sensei teaches me respect, that I don't fight unless provoked, right?
Right.
Like, we don't use this as a weapon, right? Unless somebody's attacking you, unless you need to protect your family or protect yourself. So that's the only reason. So it taught me integrity. It taught me spirituality. It actually taught me a lot about spirituality and about myself and about not using fighting to hurt people.
Yeah.
So it did teach me something back then, but I did more of that than I did of AA. And there has to be a simple balance in it. So now I do more AA than I do anything else. I sponsor guys. I always have 5 guys on my plate. Right now I'm sponsoring 20 guys. So I keep it, I can't say no. So who am I to say no to anybody, right? If somebody asks me for help, I have to say yes, because Jesus, my Lord and Savior, tells me I need to help everybody because I work for him. So I've learned that my job on this earth is to work for my God. So he gave me my life. He gave me another chance. So I'll never say that I should be dead. No, because if you should be dead, you would be. So I shouldn't be dead.
Yeah.
I believe that somebody was looking out for me, that made sure that I scathed by, because he had other plans for me. And he's like, when this guy starts making the right decisions, I've got a purpose for him. So I think I went through everything I went through to be able to work. I've worked with adolescents. I worked for insight treatment with suicide ideation, self-harmers, with cutters, with alcohol and drug, teenagers from 13 to 18 years old. I worked for Insight for a couple of years with adolescents. It was my most rewarding job I've ever had, working with teenagers. I worked at Lancaster State Prison as a case manager. I worked on the other side of everything that I've been on the other side of. So I've started in detoxes and treatment, and then I've been able to work on the other side of that. I started it in the beginning of this as just as a tech. I interned as a tech and worked in treatment and didn't get paid in the beginning like they do now. Everybody just wants to get paid. I just want an easy job. And what I was taught in the beginning was I can only take a client as far as I've gone. So a lot of these treatment facilities will hire people that haven't gone through the steps. They don't have a sponsor. They don't have any treatment, but they have a bunch of time. Oh, they graduated my program and he's got a year. I don't give a shit what he's got. He's got zero. He has zero recovery. He has some time in recovery and he's gone to your groups and stuff and you've taught him some stuff. Cool. But if he hasn't gone through any step work or sponsored other people,
Right.
he doesn't have anything to give. So a lot of treatment centers hire these people, and I've had 5 friends that were techs that had no treatment, that had no sponsors or anything, and they were working in treatment and they died.
Man.
Because they went through people's luggage and whatever, and they found fentanyl, and they threw it in their pocket, and they went home and they did it because they didn't have any.
That's a thing, unfortunately.
They didn't have any defense against the first one.
Yeah.
So the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous has taught me that I have to have a defense against the first one. And what's my defense if I don't have the steps and I don't have a sponsor and I don't have a new solution? Because drugs and alcohol are my solution. So I need a new solution. So if you're not handing me a new solution, then I'm still stuck in the problem.
Right.
And then I just got a bunch of time of abstinence. Abstinence isn't, keeping me away from the drink or a drug isn't the solution. You could keep me locked up in a room for a couple of years, right? Feed me, throw fucking things into me, have Uber Eats come give me stuff, like keep me with a big screen TV and take care of me in a program and keep me in there, locked in that room for a year.
But as soon as you're out,
as soon as you let me out that door, I'm on my own willpower. I'm on my own, and I have no solution. You haven't taught me anything.
That's a recurring theme. We see a lot of people who, I use meth, right? Not me, but a hypothetical person, uses meth, goes to prison, forgets all about it. As soon as, their due date is up, boom, already the thoughts are in there. Right as they leave.
I'm fine. If I'm locked in a program, or if I'm locked in prison, or if I'm locked in county, if I'm in a facility, I'm safe. A lot of these kids will tell you, if I'm in your program, they'll tell your father, I'm safe here. You keep me safe. Thank you. I love you. And they do. He's a protector because he cares, and he'll go up to them and he'll tell them, hey man, I really care about you, man. Like I want the best for you. And he does. But guess what? As soon as they're on their own willpower and they're out in the real world and they have no defense against that first one, their first wrong thing that happens in their life, my mom dies, my brother dies, my brother gets shot, like fucking something like that. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go straight panic mode and straight to the drugs because I know it's going to give me ease and comfort. And I need ease and comfort from this pain that I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. And if you don't give me a meeting, a sponsor, step work, a solution to my problem, I'm always going to return to that because I need something to cure this pain that I'm feeling, this heartache, this hole in the soul, we call it. It's called the hole in the soul, right? Because I'm trying to feel this big hole in the soul, and that's what it's called in AA. And we talk about the hole in the soul that we try to fill with the gym, with women, with like cake, with food, with anything, man. I'm addicted to everything. With gambling, I like to go to the casino. I like to go gamble, and like I'm an addict, so I can't go to the casino one time. Yeah, I'm going to the casino every night. Yeah. What do you mean? Take a break from the casino? Why would I? Yeah. Like, no, man. Like I've been winning. I'm on a winning streak. I'm not going to stop. Right. Why would I stop? Like, there's no reasoning for me to stop. I don't see it until I get consequences. And then I start losing my house. I start losing my car. I start losing everybody in my life. Just like drugs. I start losing my family. My family goes, man, you can't stay here anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm come from, like I told you in the beginning, a very successful, good family, great family, like rich family. And guess what? I found myself homeless. And like, I'm like, my family was like, go. We can't do this anymore. We can't watch you kill yourself. Go, get out. My family, like, they bought an apartment building and put me in the apartment building. And I destroyed that. And like, I was using in the apartment building. I was running the apartment building. They're like, we're gonna give you a job. You're gonna work, like I do construction. So I worked on the apartment building. I fixed it all up. And when everything was fixed, I did the floors, I did the bathrooms, I painted it, I sanded all the wood floors. Like I do masonry too. So I poured a sidewalk around the building. Like I did all this concrete work. I redid the porches, the decks. It was a 3-decker in Boston. My family brought me home and said, we're gonna just keep you busy. Well, all that work was done. My sister's like, okay, all that work's done. We have the other apartments filled. We have you managing it. Thank you so much. Now you're gonna have to pay half the rent, so you need to go back to work and whatever. So what did I do? I went back to work. I went back to work, and where did I find a job? With my buddies where I grew up at that were alcoholics, other alcoholics. And for a time, I stayed away because I knew, like, it was scary, right? It's gonna kill me. If I go back to drinking, it's gonna kill me. I keep going to prison, blah, blah, blah. And this is like right before I had my epiphany and like I got sober. This is 12 years ago. So 2 years before I came out to California and I got sober.
So you had some sober time before.
I was
actually-
trying. I would try. This was just abstinence.
Right.
I wasn't going to meetings. I wasn't doing anything. My friends, I was working at his house. He owned a roofing business, and I was doing concrete work on his $2 million house. I was doing all the concrete foundation, redoing it. And he'd come home with the guys from work, and he'd be like, hey, we're going to have some beers. You want some? And I'd be like, no. And then like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no. And I'd just sit there with them and I'd shoot the shit and then I'd go home and they'd stay there drinking. And after like a month, one day, it wasn't a bad day. It was a nice day. It was a good day. And like, I didn't have any defense against that first one, right? So we're sitting around there drinking and it wasn't a drink. They went like this, they're smoking a joint, and he handed it to me. And what did I do? I didn't think. I just naturally grabbed it.
Mm.
He didn't ask me or anything this time. He didn't ask me if I wanted a drink, which I could say no to. He just handed it to me naturally. And I naturally, instinctively grabbed it.
Wow.
Put it up to my mouth, took a hit, and I went, oh shit, what did I just do? I haven't drank in a couple months. Like I was doing good. Damn. Fuck it now. Took another hit. Then I went, when he went up to get beer out of the cooler, I went, grab me 2. I didn't say grab me 1. I said grab me 2.
Wow.
Because I wanted to catch up
Man.
to the rest of the guys in the house.
A lot of people, California sober is,
No
I
such thing.
disagree with it as well. But for the audience who doesn't know, California, so in California, marijuana use is legal. So people who are coming off of harder things, say smoking weed is okay. But as we see with you, right, with your testimony, that one hit was
Complete abstinence is my only way of staying clean and sober. And I've learned
Scary.
it over the years, man. I've gone on Suboxone, I've gone on methadone, I've gone on marijuana maintenance. I did marijuana maintenance for a couple of years. And then one day was not a bad day, it was a good day. I thought, hey man, like I'm doing okay on marijuana. Why can't I just go get a fucking Oxy 80? And I went and got an Oxy 80, and the Oxy 80 turned into heroin, and the heroin turned into me slamming it like that fast. Within like a few weeks, I was slamming again. And I went, wow, man, that was quick. How'd that happen? Because I left the door open. There's a door. Your opiate receptors. It's called a door in the back of your head that you're leaving open. And when you're smoking marijuana and when you're drinking, you leave your door open in the back of your head. You're leaving it open a crack because you're only doing a little bit. I'm California sober, so you're not sober at all, right? But you're leaving that crack open in the door, and then your addiction is going to tell you, this is cool and this is working right now, but eventually I want my drug of choice.
Mm.
And whatever that is, if it's meth, if it's heroin, if it's barbiturates, if it's anything else, man, your brain is going to bring you back to it.
Yeah.
It could be years.
Yeah.
It could be years down the road. It could be months down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen people like drink and smoke weed for 10 years. And then one day they did heroin and they're dead now. Do you want to take that chance? I don't. So I didn't want any door open. I didn't want no crack in the back of my head saying like, fucking, hey man, like you can do this, or you could just take these pills and you're going to be okay, man. So I didn't, and when I read the big book, it says in the beginning of the big book, it says this requires complete abstinence from
Right.
all mind-altering substances for this to work.
Mm-hmm.
For you to get a spiritual awakening and for you to get connected to your higher power,
Right.
mine's JC. So for me to get connected to JC, I can't have a spiritual connection if my brain's not.
It's like the antenna connection is weak, right? Like if you're under the...
You're on a mind-altering substance, so you're not having that that sunlight of the spirit, like mind alter. Your mind's altered, so you're having a connection
with...
with
bad reception.
It's like tripping.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know. Like, yeah, dude, I had a spiritual connection with something out there. With who? With what? Did you? I don't know, bro. I was tripping.
Yeah. I think from your testimony, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing is how the devil is an amazing liar, right? And how does he lie to us? By telling us everything is okay. Hey, you're chilling right now. It's fine. You can, you've been smoking weed, you've been drinking, everything's going all right. Hey, you can do it. You'll be fine. You don't need God, right? You got yourself. You can do it. If you've done it yourself, you can keep doing it yourself again. And I just think that's such a powerful lie. And I definitely think that the devil attacks those who are the biggest threat to him, number one, with all the might that he's got. And what's more powerful than drugs and alcohol?
Sex. He'll attack you with that too.
Drugs, alcohol, and sex. The three combination.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll use porn, we'll use women, we'll use anything. And he'll use that, even in recovery, man.
Yeah.
He'll use that against me. And I'll use women. And I'll use women like a drug until I hurt somebody, and then I feel bad for it, and then I go back to using. Oh man, like I just broke her heart or whatever. And then I feel bad, she feels bad, and then we're both getting high together. That's usually what happens in treatment. Is a lot of young kids and everything nowadays, they want to be fixed, man, and they want to fix other people. So as soon as a girl gets in with daddy issues that didn't have a father figure, right? She goes into treatment and she's looking for somebody to give her love that she didn't get from her father, right? So she finds it in another person in recovery, and he's giving her attention. Now I got this attention from this guy, and it's filling that void that I had. Now I don't have drugs and alcohol, but he's filling it. But as soon as he says, yep, I got what I wanted from her, I'm gone, then what? She's gonna go get high and die because this kid just used her. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I say in recovery, man, keep men and women separate, because
I agree with that.
They don't have the minds. They have an adolescent mind, because they say drugs and alcohol have stunted the growth or the maturity in your brain. So you're still at an adolescent state of mind and body. I don't care if you're 40 years old.
Yeah,
you're still acting like a kid, and you're still trying to hit on 18-year-old girls in treatment, and like you don't have no.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Right, and you have no like stop from it. Like, why am I doing this? Because I have nothing else. I don't have drugs and alcohol, man. So now I got to fill that void with a human being. So like, now I'm going to hurt this girl, and I don't even realize it. I don't really want to, but I need something to fill that void. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to use human beings to fill that void that we don't have from drugs and alcohol. And then people are like, oh man, like No way. How do you know? Why do you judge that? Like, why do you judge that in treatment as a counselor? Like, leave me alone. Like, she loves me and I love her, and we're gonna go live happily ever after under a bridge together. Like,
Come on.
that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna go live under a bridge together and you're gonna die together. And like, that's a Romeo and Juliet like story, right?
Mhm.
That like you're gonna go commit suicide together under a bridge.
Yeah.
With
Can I
drugs.
ask, can I ask you a personal question? So you come from a family of very successful people, very smart people, very educated people. What do you think, made you different from that?
The father part. Like, my brothers had my stepfather until he passed away. My stepfather was an engineer and very intelligent, and he directed them into college and paid for it and gave them the directions they needed. And I was left behind with no directions,
And how old were you when your stepfather passed away?
like 13.
13.
So
Man,
at
that's
13
tough.
years old, my mother went back to work. So my stepfather was a millionaire who took care of her.
Mhm.
So when he died, my mother went back to work. So she couldn't give me that attention. So now I'm at 13, teenage years, 14, the most pivotal years, right?
Right.
Of your teenage adolescence, right? Now my sister's doing her own thing. She's a couple of years ahead of me. She's in high school with the boys and everything and going and doing her own thing. And now I'm looking for somebody to hang out with, and I did. I found criminals, and I
From
found
that age?
tough guys, and I just wanted to be a tough guy. So yeah, like I just wanted to be. Everybody wants to be a tough guy or
Mm.
hang out with tough guys or be the cool guy. I always joke about it now, man. I was always the coolest guy in a shelter, the coolest guy in a prison cell, the coolest guy in a sober living, the coolest guy in detox, like the cool guy. I always wanted to be the cool guy, so I was always wanting to hang out with the cool guys. The cool guys got me in trouble. The cool
Mm.
guys were looking for trouble, and I wanted trouble. So then I was just like, oh man, like I'm so deep into this that I couldn't see a way out.
Mm.
So when you're that deep into the being cool and just worrying about being fitting in and everything else, right? And like just fitting in with everybody, and how do we fit in? We drink. We get comfortable with people. How do we get comfortable? I have drinks, smoke weed, fucking party. That's how we get comfortable. That's how we make friends, and that's what we did in our teenage years. And I got comfortable with those people and that type of people. And when other people went off to college and dropped it, I was like, where you going, man? Like, this shit's awesome. Now I'm an addict and alcoholic and like I'm addicted to it, and everybody else is dropping it that aren't. And like they're off and doing their own thing. And I'm sitting here going, what do you mean? This is the best thing since diapers and fat crayons. You know what I mean? Like, this shit's awesome. Like, I'm sitting here high on my couch and
Yeah.
like drinking myself to death. And now I'm trying to find even better drugs and harder drugs to keep me like keep my brain fucking like functioning on a level of just sustaining itself on survival mode.
Yeah.
I've been on survival mode. I was on survival mode for 40 years of my life, like
Yeah.
just on survival mode and not like actually getting a career or responsibility. I got lucky. I did construction. I went into the masonry business and
Union job?
yeah, I was a
Yeah.
union mason. But like any lug can do fucking concrete and masonry and like fucking I mean, I was a good mason, but it was just a job, man. Like that was just to sustain my drinking and drugging career, really. Like I didn't really like make anything out of it. So like I kept myself down because of that too. I was like, dude, I'm in the union. I'm fucking supposed to be making all this money. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that. And I'd always keep myself, why haven't I made anything of my life? And I'd always be like, I should be more than I am. So I was always breaking myself down mentally and saying, man, like fucking, I should be doing more. I should be better than this.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, man. Like I was always trying to like, I remember being on drugs and saying, you're a pussy if you can't fucking control this. Like being tripping on acid and stuff. And I'd be like, dude, stop tripping out. Like, stop being weird. Like, you could control this.
Yeah.
And I was always trying to mind control everything and say, you got this. Heroin, I'd be like, I can control this. like fucking, I don't need it all the time until I physically needed it all the time, until it was hurting me to not have it.
Yeah.
I would actually just use dope, heroin, and on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And like in the beginning, I would just try and do it like, and then it would become like, fuck, dude.
And then Monday comes around.
Yeah, I need this again. Like, and then I remember the first time the girl that I was getting it from told me what dope sick was. And I was like, dope sick? What the fuck is that? She's like, you need it. You physically need it. And I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me this before?
Yeah.
That I was going to physically need it. And they're like, oh, because we all physically need it.
Yeah.
So basically other people that are physically in need of it want to see you down too. Yeah. So they're not going to fucking warn you, hey man, you might not want to fuck with this stuff because eventually you're going to physically need it and it's going to control your whole fucking life like it does mine, because other addicts just want to see other addicts in the same predicament as them.
Yeah. So what was your first experience with moving past smoking weed, drinking alcohol to something harder? Can we tap into your memory there?
Like coke, like
at a party.
I went from coke to marijuana and then it didn't get like really bad until, like I said, back when I was 18, we screwed around with Oxy 80s and stuff and Percocets and all that. But even that, man, like we didn't really get addicted to them. We played around with them.
Well, I mean, back then it was completely different than it is now.
Yeah.
You can't do the things that you did back then, do it now. Like we had, I'm not sure if you know Daryl, but for our viewers, I mean, he was talking about crack back in the day, how it was done with etiquette. It was at like a table setting, you know, it was a sophisticated thing. But then now, you know, who's doing crack? Right?
Well, freebasing was what, before formable crack was crack, it was freebasing.
Yeah.
And freebasing was done with rich people.
Yeah. And nowadays, everything has fentanyl in it. Even your weed has fentanyl in it. I graduated from UCLA, and you know, we had ambulance every Thursdays were our Fridays, because on Fridays there's no class. Every Thursday, every Friday there was an ambulance. Why? Because kids are buying joints off the street laced with fentanyl. You know, good kid from the Midwest just overdosing on the spot, dead, flatline. Why? Because everything nowadays has fentanyl in it. So, you know, I don't want people to hear you say that, you know, the Oxy didn't become an addiction, because nowadays it will 100% be, because if you don't know where your shit's coming from.
We played around with Oxys, like I said. Even us addicts, we played around with OxyContin, and I'm not saying it wasn't an addiction. It was just that we didn't do it all the time, because Oxy 80s back then were $80 a pill. It was $1 a milligram. So we were paying $1 a milligram for Oxy 80s. So, like,
it was inaccessible.
It was like buying a gram of Coke. Like we'd buy an Oxy 80 and split it between friends on the weekend, and we were doing it here and there, and we treated it like weekend warriors. Like we'd party on the weekends, and like during the week we'd go to work. I'd go do concrete. I'd go do masonry, and like make a paycheck, and like try to sustain and keep a roof over my head, until it became so much that like I needed it, because like when I got into concrete, like you said, how did I really get into opiates? Because I worked as a mason, so my back is gone, like fucking back breaking, making fucking concrete in a wheelbarrow, like fucking mixing up my own concrete to patching shit with concrete.
Dude, that shit's addictive. Because I was telling you how you know, I had surgery. They prescribed me Oxy as well. I mean, the first day was just horrible. I had to take one, but even me, you know, I haven't done drugs or anything like that. I mean, I've drank and I've smoked and things like that, but I realized, hey, like, this feels good, you know, like, and I caught myself like telling my mom, like, hey, I'm in pain, even though I knew that I could thug it out. but that shit's powerful. That shit's so powerful, and it's just crazy how
You don't
it's
need it, you
used.
want it.
Yeah.
So that's what our brains start telling
Yeah.
us. So you go from, I started getting prescriptions of Oxy 80s for my back from doing masonry, to taking one every 8 hours to taking 8 every 1 hour. You know what I mean? That's a joke we make in
Yeah.
addiction. Like we read it. I read the prescription bottle backwards. Sorry. Like people will be like,
Yeah.
fucking, you're supposed to take one every 6 hours, bro, not
Yeah.
6 every 1 hour. Like, oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, I'm an addict, man. I read dyslexic because like I'm a fucking addict and I read shit backwards.
Yeah.
And like I do stuff like that, like normal people don't do.
Yeah.
Because my addict mind, once you put it in me, something goes off.
Mm-hmm.
And the opiate receptors in my back of my head go, feed me.
Bing, 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 bing,
Feed
bing.
me. This is fucking awesome. Feed me some more. Even now, I don't.
Yeah,
it's
man,
not. It's
that's
not
so
just
powerful.
taking care of the pain. It's taking care of my responsibilities. It's taking care of all the hurt in my life. It's taking care of fucking my daddy not being there and showing up for me when he was supposed to. It's taking care of everything, every feeling and every emotion that I feel. My girlfriend is breaking up with me. Me taking Oxy 80. Fucking. Oh, I don't give a shit. Let her go break up with me. You know what I mean? Who cares? You don't care about life on life's terms because like you have all these other drugs that are killing the pains of like life on life's terms. Now I can deal with life. Now
Yeah.
I'm okay. So that's what these kids nowadays don't see. I don't ever see fucking taking care of life on life's terms. It's boring. Like, why would I want to? Like, I want to fucking rave. I want to like do all these drugs. I want to do this stuff. And like, I want to take ecstasy. I want to be able to trip balls. I want to take Molly. I want to be able to do all these things and like have fun. I'm still young, man. Like, you're old. Of course you want to get sober. And I'm like, cool, man. But like, I wish I would have realized that when I was young, that getting sober was the most important thing in my life that was going to give me a sustainable life.
Yeah.
And my brother Jay told me a long time ago, Kory, stop. Because like if you don't put into work and put into your life, you're always going to be on survival mode. And you're always going to be like striving to find something to take care of the bills and everything else, to keep a roof over your head. And he goes, guess what? I have a career that takes care of itself. So like I said, he worked for Boston Scientific, right? So he went through school. He did everything he was supposed to. So now in the end, when he was dying of cancer, you know what he said? I got to live life. I got off survival mode a long time ago. I was an engineer for one of the biggest corporations in America. I got paid $250,000 a year and sustained my life, plus bonuses and everything else that he got from it. And like, plus he had millions in stocks and bonds and everything else. He's like, I sustained my life. I was off survival mode. I was out playing golf when everybody else was at work. I'd be out with the CEOs from the company. We'd take weeks off and we go on vacations together, and we got to live life because we got off survival mode. He's like, you'll never get off survival mode because you're always trying to get money to take care of your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're never paying your bills. You're never paying your mortgage. You're never having a house. You're never having these things to make yourself available to live life. Right. You're always trying to sustain the fucking pains and everything going on in your head that make you an addict. And now you just, now you end up homeless.
Yeah.
Like they asked me, like, what'd your life look like in treatment? They go, what did your life start out with, and what did it turn into? And I said, well, it started out with Sons of Anarchy, you know, the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I started out like booze, bikes, and babes. Like I started hanging out with guys that rode fucking Harleys and everything else. And like I wanted to be fucking in a biker gang, and like my life looked like Sons of Anarchy in the beginning, and it was okay. It was sustainable. I go to work, I do concrete, I'd ride a bike. Like I was living the life, man, and the lifestyle, and I was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then my addiction got so bad that it turned into Basketball Diaries.
What does that mean?
Basketball Diaries is a heroin movie about kids that ended up living on the streets and like being homeless and like fucking and robbing and stealing and doing everything just to make $40 to get high, to get off E. So it went from being okay, my addiction was okay and sustainable, to not being okay and not being sustainable anymore. Now it's like, fucking, I gotta go rob you to get like fucking $40. Now, like, fucking, I'm trying to look at what kind of watch you're wearing because I want to steal it after the show and like, fuck, you know what I mean?
I don't got any watches on.
I know. You're
Okay.
looking at mine though.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's 75.